Brave Hearts. I'm so glad you're back. This is Heart and Courage Stories for Brave Hearts, the podcast where you grow your character through stories, challenges, and real-life heroes. Last time we followed Vivi, Andy, and Mia into a secret valley. They made a promise to protect that place, to keep it safe and special. Today that promise gets tested when something goes wrong. So let's ride out to the ranch and see what happens when a new adventure begins. It was a dusty afternoon at the ranch. Vivi was brushing Liberty while Mia painted rocks for the Garden Pact. Andy, as usual, was supposed to be digging compost into the soil, but he was nowhere to be seen. Mia tapped her brush in the jar. Mia said, "Where's Andy? He was supposed to help today." Vivi sighing. He said he'd bring the wheelbarrow 20 minutes ago. The trio had made a garden pact the week before. The wildflowers in the hidden valley were starting to bloom, and they'd agreed to build a community garden at the ranch with all three of them, a way to grow vegetables, herbs, and native flowers, something they could all take care of together. They even made a painted sign that read, "Planted with purpose, tended with love." Isn't that cute? But now Andy was missing. So we see now Andy is riding Comet in the meadow, trying to balance an apple on his head. He laughed, lost in his game. But back at the garden, Vivi and Mia were working hard, watering, pulling weeds, hauling soil. Finally, Andy strolled up, dusty and grinning. And Andy said, "Sorry I'm late. Comet and I were practicing rodeo tricks." Mia frowned. "We've done everything without you. That wasn't the plan." Vivi said, "We needed your help, Andy. A pact is a promise." Andy looked down. He didn't mean to let them down, but he had. Later that day, he returned alone to the garden. No one saw him. He pulled weeds, dug holes, fixed a broken section of a fence. When Vivi and Mia came the next morning, the beds were tidy. A small sign sat by the gate, painted in Andy's handwriting. "I'm sorry, I didn't keep the promise. I'm ready to try again." Vivi smiled. Now that's taking responsibility. They all dug in together this time. Responsibility isn't about being perfect. It's about showing up, owning your part, and trying again. So let's take a moment, Braveheart. Have you ever made a promise and forgot to follow through? Have you ever had someone depend on you and you weren't ready? Responsibility means people can count on you. It means being honest when you've dropped the ball, and it means trying again, even when it's hard. Andy didn't run from his mistake. He showed up, quietly, kindly. That's a brave heart. Let's meet a real Braveheart, George Washington Carver. George was born into slavery during the Civil War and raised with very little. He was curious about everything, especially plants. He wanted to go to school, but most schools wouldn't admit black children. Still, he didn't give up. He eventually became a famous scientist and teacher, inventing over 300 uses for the peanut and helping farmers in the South restore their soil. But do you know what made him great? Not just science, it was his sense of responsibility to others. He believed that using your talents to help your neighbors was the greatest purpose of all. He once said, "It's not the style of clothes one wears, but the character which counts." Just like Andy, and just like you. This week's Braveheart Challenge is about taking ownership and growing something, literally. You'll get to build your own Braveheart Responsibility Garden. So, what we're going to create is a responsibility tracker. I know it sounds fun. Write down one small thing you're responsible for this week. It might be feeding a pet, finishing your homework, cleaning your room. Track it for 5 days. And then think, did you do it even when it wasn't fun? Then we're going to do seedling starter. So use the printable template on the webpage to create a plant label. Decorate it with your name and the word grow. Plant a seed or small cutting in a cup or pot. Watch it grow with your care and attention. So you're going to go to heartandcouragestories.com and you're going to get the downloads, the printables for this. And you're going to track how responsible are you this week in taking care of your seedling plant and helping it grow. Today, you planted more than seeds. You planted the roots of responsibility. Like Andy, you can own your mistakes and make them right. And like Washington Carver, you can use what you've been given to help others grow. Next time, we'll explore a legendary tale, one that teaches us why telling the truth matters, even when it's tough. Until then, be steady, be helpful, be dependable, and always remember, you are a brave heart.